Alright, hello everyone. Kumusta kayong lahat? How's everyone doing? Sana okay kayo. Let me share my slides. Ang title ng lecture natin for today is Devil Psychology, Conditioning, and Distraction. Now, for those of you na first time nakapakinig ng lecture series na Devil Psychology, by the way, this is a lecture series. If you go to my YouTube channel, makikita nyo may mga lectures ako under ng Devil Psychology. So very quickly, explain ko lang ng mabilis tungkol saan ba tong lecture series na to. Ito yung mga major assumptions natin. Number one, that the devil is a spiritual reality. Ang demonyo, hindi lang to gawa-gawa ng tao. Hindi lang ito product ng literary imagination. Literal, totoong merong demonyo. And in this channel, why do we believe that the devil is real? Because Jesus said so. Remember, Jesus is the foundation of this channel. After all, the devil is confirmed to be true both saan? Sa Old Testament and in the New Testament, talagang matindi yung claim na totoo ang demonyo. Does that make sense? So the devil is a spiritual reality. Anong connection niya sa psychology? That the devil is predisposed, natural sa kanya. The devil is programmed to destroy the psyche. In the words by the New Testament, the devil is here to steal and kill and destroy. So hindi maganda sa psyche ng tao yung devil kasi nga sinisira niya yung psyche natin. Let me put that in a diagram. This is the picture of a healthy psyche. Mas malapit ka sa source ng psyche mo or sa creator ng psyche mo, mas maganda yung overall psyche or psychological condition. Ang tawag dito, intimacy with God. The closer you are to God, if you remain in God and God remains in you, the better the psychological condition is. Now, going back to the nature of the devil, ayaw niya yan. Ayaw niya na ang psyche close kay God, kaya gagawa siya ng paraan on how to separate, everybody say that word, separate. Ihiwalay sa Tagalog, yung psyche na yan from God. Did you see that movement? Ayan, hihiwalay niya yan. Okay? At ano ang gagamitin ng demonyo para mapalayo ang psyche from God? Gagamit siya ng mga psychological concepts. Diyan papasok yung Devil Psychology series. Pinapakita natin dito how certain psychological concepts can be used by the spiritual enemy to destroy the psyche. Papalayuin niya yung psyche from God using different psychological concepts or principles. And again, sinabi ko noon to kanina, this greatly contributes to many mental health struggles. Kaya ang tao, may mga mental health issues kasi nawawala yung intimacy niya from the creator of the psyche, lumalayo siya. And without us realizing it, kaya pala tayo lumayo from our source, from our creator, nagamitan na tayo ng psychology ng demonyo. Again, yun yung point nung series na to. Pinapakita natin how psychological concepts are being used in the spiritual realm that may explain why people are far away from God. Does that make sense? So again, if you don't believe in the devil, kung hindi kayo naniniwala sa ganitong lecture series, okay lang naman, you don't have to believe this. Does that make sense? Now, just a reflection, you can pause the lecture if you like. I-type nyo nga dyan sa comment section, ikaw ba personally, naniniwala ka ba sa devil? Whether your answer is yes or no, we wanna know the reason why. Ano yung reason mo bakit naniniwala ka na totoong may demonyo versus hindi totoong may demonyo? Interesting question. Now, going back to our title, in this lecture, papakita natin how conditioning and distraction are being used by the devil to separate the psyche from God. Yan kasi yung araw-araw na question na tinatanong ng demonyo. Yan yung purpose niya eh. Yan yung design niya. How to make people turn away from God or avoid God. In the language of psychology of religion, ang tawag namin dyan, low levels of spirituality. So could it be that one of the reasons kung bakit ang isang tao mababa ang spirituality, ibig sabihin hindi siya ganun ka-connected kay God, it's because ginamitan na siya ng demonyo ng dalawang psychological concepts, conditioning and distraction. Now, to jumpstart our lecture, in demonstrating these two psychological concepts, magbabasa lang ako ng isang material entitled If I Were the Devil, a chilling thought experiment powered by AI. So, i-clarify ko lang, based on the thumbnail, hindi ako yung demonyo ha. Baka sabihin nyo, naging demonyo na ako. Hindi ako anak ng demonyo, no? I love our God. Okay? I am a child of God. Okay? So yung if I were the devil in the thumbnail, this is actually the material na gagamitin natin in hypothesizing the possible connection of the devil to a person's mental health. Okay? So ito yung title ng material na babasahin natin. Yung story nito, merong isang tao na siguro marami siyang time, wala siyang magawa. One day, nag-chat GPT siya. Okay? And then, tinanong niya sa chat GPT, na-curious siya, chat GPT, kung ikaw, demonyo, ano ang gagawin mo so that people will turn away from God? Yun yung tanong niya. Kasi matalino si chat GPT, di ba? So, na-curious siya, ano kayang strategy ni chat GPT? Kung siya yung demonyo, what would chat GPT do para pababain ng spirituality ng mga tao? And here's what chat GPT replied. Sabi ni ChatGPT, well, if I were the devil, I'd start by corrupting mainstream religion, turning it into a tool for control, hypocrisy, and division. I twist sacred teachings into rules and breed judgment and fear, driving people away from faith and making them question the authenticity of God's message. I divide believers against one another, creating conflict within their own community so they'd focus on fighting each other rather than seeking unity or truth. Mag-aaway-away yung mga tao in the church. I then create distractions that seem harmless but consume their attention, pulling them away from spiritual growth. I'd promote materialism, convincing them that happiness comes from possessions. I'd encourage a culture of busyness. Uy, taas na kami ng mga busy dyan. Leaving little time for reflection or connection with the divine. And finally, I'd ensure that doubt and fear overshadow faith and love, so they become too disillusioned to ever seek a higher power. Scary, no? Kaya nga, yung title, Chilling Thought Experiment. Yan daw ang gagawin ni ChatGPT. But in this lecture, we know na experiment lang to. But what are the chances that this material that I've read nangyayari na talaga? What are the chances that the devil is already currently doing such things? Kasi kung babasahin nyo itong mga part na yan, no, part by part, ako ang hypothesis ko, most of you can think of certain examples na itong mga to nangyayari na currently. Diba? So, posible kaya na ito hindi lang to thought experiment ni ChatGPT, pero spiritual reality na nangyayari na nga yung mga yan. Now, if you read this material na lumabas, If I Were the Devil, actually, dalawang psychological concepts yung at work dyan na ginagamit ng devil to destroy the psyche. Number one is conditioning, the other one is distraction. Yung word na conditioning, under yan ng behaviorism. For those of you na nag-aaral ng theories of personality, sana maalala nyo ang behaviorism. And the word distraction is under cognitive psychology. So, dalawang field of psychology yung involved dito. Behaviorism and cognitive psychology. Unahin natin yung behaviorism. Matutuwa dito si Ivan Pavlov, who is the father of classical conditioning. Taas ang kamay dyan ng mga nakakaalala kay Pavlov, asawa ni Mrs. Pavlov. Kilala natin lahat yan. Diba? Ano pa yung mga words na naalala nyo about Pavlov? Other than classical conditioning, nandyan yung aso niya, salivation, unconditioned response, neutral stimulus, unconditioned stimulus, so on and so forth. I'm sure marami nakakaalala dyan. But going back to the material, ito yung mga words, no, na talagang nagre-reflect na ang demonyo gumagamit ng classical conditioning ni Ivan Pavlov. I-browse through nyo na lang dyan. I'd start by corrupting mainstream religion. I twist sacred teachings into rules that breed judgment and fear, so on and so forth. Yung apat na yan clearly reflects classical conditioning. Let's demonstrate how. In classical conditioning, isa sa mga laws kung paano mag-shape ng response ng mga tao is what we call the law of association. Or in a more people-friendly term, ang tawag natin dyan, conditioning. Kino-condition ka. Sinishape ka na magkaroon ng certain reaction sa isang bagay. Ayan, nakalagay dyan. Pair subject to sets of idea to generate a given reaction. So, mag-associate siya ng isang subject sa sets of idea para makondition ka na yung reaction mo magiging ganito. Does that make sense? Actually, para mas maalala nyo to, irabihin nyo yung experiment ni Pavlov sa aso niya. 'Di ba? Ano ang conditioning na ginawa ni Pavlov sa aso niya? Kinondisyon niya yung aso niya na maglaway. At paano niya ginawa yon? Going back to the definition of law of association, pinair niya yung bell sa food. Nagigets nyo? So yung aso, kinondisyon ni Pavlov, shinape ni Pavlov, using the terminology of behaviorism, shinape ni Pavlov yung aso na equalize yung epekto sa kanya ng food at ng bell. Dati-rati yung bell walang epekto sa aso. Hindi siya naglalaway. Naglalaway lang yung aso kapag pinipresentahan siya ng food. Pero ano ginawa ng Pavlov? Pinair niya ng pinair. Bell, food, bell, food, bell, food, bell, food, bell, food. Maraming beses niyang ginawa yon. Until it came to a point, ano nangyari? Kahit walang food, basta yung aso marinig niya yung bell, maglalaway na rin siya. 'Di ba? Dati-rati maglalaway lang yung dog kapag narinig o kapag naamoy niya yung food. Ngayon, dahil naging successful yung conditioning, yung bell, kahit wala pang food, basta marinig lang niya yung bell, maglalaway na siya. Yun yung ibig sabihin ng conditioning. And that kind of conditioning is not only true in the physical realm, it is also true in the spiritual realm. Ang demonyo gumagamit din, we can hypothesize, ng classical conditioning. Ang tawag natin dyan, spiritual association. Wherein, ang demonyo, anong gagawin niya? I-prepare niya si God or any godly things with sets of idea na negative para mag-create sa tao ng avoidant reaction towards God. Yan kasi ang goal ng demonyo. Remember, going back to that diagram, ang goal ng demonyo is to make people far away from God. So, anong gagawin niya? Iko-condition niya yung tao na ang tao, tuwing maririnig niya si God, tuwing maririnig niya yung ideas about God, religion, the church, dapat people will want to avoid God. Does that make sense? So, gagawa ng conditioning, certain form of conditioning, yung demonyo. Now, let's demonstrate kung paano ba pwedeng mangyari yan. In general, if you can see my slide, no, ganito yung usual pairing. Tuwing may mga negative life events, ang reaction natin dyan is we want to avoid it. Tama? Ayaw natin ng bad vibes. Ayaw natin ng bad events. So tuwing merong so ginagawa natin yung mga actions natin that will move us away from certain life negativities. Lumalayo tayo sa violence, lumalayo tayo sa utang, lumalayo tayo sa mga nambubuli sa atin, lumalayo tayo sa mga nangaaway sa atin, lumalayo tayo sa mga nagmumura sa atin. Laging ganyan yung pairing. Pag negative yan, ayoko niyan. Does that make sense? Okay, now, here's the thing. Yung demonyo ngayon, gagamit na siya ng classical conditioning, i-prepare ngayon niya yung God, si God, or anything to do with the church with life negativities. Yung number dito, sabi ko times 10, pero estimate ko lang yan. Ang idea lang dito, paulit-ulit niyang ginagawa yan. Lagi niyang i-prepare yung God with life negativities. God, judgmental. God, intolerant. God, murder. God, corruption. God, whatever. Going back to the material na binasa natin, ano yung mga examples dyan? How God or the church is being paired with life negativities. Ayan, I'd start by corrupting mainstream religion, turning it into a tool for control, hypocrisy, and division. Paulit-ulit yung gagawin yan. Oh, yung church naman, hipokrito yan eh. Pa-church pa, nagmumura naman. Pa-church pa, hindi naman nagbabayad ng utang. Pa-church pa, nag-aabuso naman ng mga bata. How many times have we heard those news? Diba? Paulit-ulit natin narinig yan, yung mga kalokohang nangyayari inside the church. That could be a form of conditioning. And then yung part pa na I twist sacred teachings into rules and breed judgment and fear, driving people away from faith and making them question the authenticity of God's message. I-prepare yan. Si God, yung church, puro mga judgmental yan. Sa paningin nila, masama kang tao, papunta kang impyerno. Diba? Pag pupunta ka sa church, hindi ka naman ma-feel good dyan, matatakot ka lang dyan. Sasabihin sa'yo, ang buhay maikli. Pag hindi ka naging close kay Lord, punta ka sa impyerno. Diba? I-prepare ng demonyo yan, yung idea na yan, sa God and the church. What else? I divide believers against one another, creating conflict within their own community, so they'd focus on fighting each other rather than seeking unity or truth. Divide, conflict, fighting, ayaw natin yan. Pero ang demonyo, i-prepare niya yung mga words na yan sa God, sa church. And finally, I'd ensure that doubt and fear overshadow faith and love, so they become too disillusioned to ever seek a higher power. I-prepare na naman niya yan. The God, church, tungkol yan sa division, tungkol yan sa fear, tungkol yan sa disillusionment, paulit-ulit i-prepare ng demonyo yung mga yan. Nagigets nyo? Until finally, fast forward, ano ang outcome niyan? Kapag ang demonyo successfully na-condition na yung tao in pairing God or the church with life negativities, ano mangyayari? Anong hypothesis nyo? To the point na yung God and the church, as you can see on the screen, magiging ka-level na ng life negativities. Magiging synonym na sila. Nagigets nyo? That God and the church, tuwing maririnig ng tao, i-equate niya yan sa life negativities, creating what? The reaction of avoidance. Yun nga yung gusto ng demonyo. People to avoid God. And how did that happen? Law of association. Gumamit ng classical conditioning. Kung baga, kung i-relate mo yan sa original experiment ni Ivan Pavlov, di ba? Yung bell, nagkaroon na siya ng power to elicit a certain response from the dog, which is to salivate. I-translate mo yan o i-connect mo yan dito sa lecture natin ngayon, ano nangyari? Because of classical conditioning, many people today have been conditioned to hate the church, to hate God. Because of the successful classical conditioning by the devil. Kaya marami mga tao ngayon, tuwing naririnig yung church, ang dami nilang mga ways on how to avoid the church, how to avoid God. 'Di ba? And ano yung possible mga salivation equivalents niyan? Ano yung mga iba't ibang forms of avoidance that people do? How do people avoid God? Well, some examples would be in the psychology of religion, pinag-aaralan to, yung backsliding. Dati kang nasa church, ngayon ayaw mo na, galit ka na kay Lord, you turn your life around. Hindi ka na Christian living, worldly living ka na, that's considered backsliding. It's a form of avoidance. Or another example would be being an agnostic. Hindi ganon kalakas yung commitment mo towards God. Ngayon, 50-50 ka. Dati sure na sure ka. Ngayon, 50-50 na lang. Totoo ba talagang may Diyos? Kung totoong may Diyos, then bakit may mga tao sa impyerno ngayon? Yan, mga ganyang logic. Could be an effect of the devil's classical conditioning or atheism. What are the chances that one of the reasons kung bakit ang mga tao hindi na naniniwala sa Diyos, atheist, is because of such classical conditioning na nangyayari in the spiritual realm? Just asking questions. Kaya nga with this, I would like you to pause the video and reflect. Ilagay nyo sa comment section, kayo ba meron ba kayong kakilalang tao na hate ang church? Hate ang religion. Hate ang idea of God. Na tuwing may isip nila yan, tuwing ipepresent mo sa kanila yan, talagang babarahin ka. Tataas ang mga blood pressure, maiinis sa'yo, and then they will avoid the topic altogether. Huwag mo ilagay yung pangalan dyan kung may kakilala ka. Okay? Baka ilagay mo. No, ang pinapalagay ko sa comment section is, what are the chances na kaya sila ganyan? It's because of this classical conditioning na nangyayari in the spiritual realm. Okay? So ulitin ko, huwag nyo ilagay yung pangalan dyan, ha? Baka ma-misinterpret nyo yung slide, ilagay nyo yung pangalan dyan, pati yung address, pati yung email ad. Wag na. Okay? Anyway, we're done with conditioning under behaviorism. Now we go to cognitive psychology. Ano o paano ginagamit ng demonyo yung distraction to make people away from God. Balikan natin yung material. Ito yung mga examples dyan. I'd read again. I then create distractions that seem harmless but consume their attention, pulling them away from spiritual growth. I'd promise materialism, convincing them that happiness comes from possessions. I'd encourage a culture of busyness, leaving little time for reflection or connection with the divine. I-combine mo yung tatlong items na yan, ang equivalent niyan is what? In cognitive psychology, distraction. Or in a more technical term, kasi distraction, popular term. Pero in the scientific realm, ang mas bagay na tawag dyan is, in the language by Sternberg, yung author ng libro na to, na Cognitive Psychology, divided attention. Shout out dyan sa mga mahihilig sa cognitive psych. I'm sure, aware kayo anong ibig sabihin ng divided attention. Like, the way Sternberg defines divided attention is this way: the prudent allocation of available attentional resources to coordinate the performance of more than one task at a time. Sa simpleng Tagalog, yung divided attention is a cognitive habit where, tatagalugin ko na lang, pinagsasabay-sabay mo gawin ang iba't ibang mga bagay. Doing different things all at the same time. As you can see in the clip art here, ganyan. Sino dito ang nakaka-relate? Ganyan siya. Or another term for this is multitasking. Sino dito magaling mag-multitasking? Yan. Habang nag-aaral, kumakain. Yun. Dagdagan mo pa, habang nag-aaral, kumakain, nanonood ng YouTube. Yun. Habang nagluluto, namamalansya. Yun. Habang may kausap sa telepono, naglalaba. Yan. Mga multitasking yan. Alright? So this is a very popular and busy area of research. Now, the thing is, in general, kung kokolektahin mo yung literature on multitasking, or divided attention, or in being distracted, in general, hindi pala maganda ang effect niyan sa mental health natin. Okay? Again, if you want to know more about this, you can start by reading this article that you can see here, How Multitasking Affects Productivity and Brain Health. Common finding is hindi talaga maganda ang multitasking. It generally impairs the quality of whatever we are doing. Sabi nga ng mga cognitive psychologists, because our brain is programmed to do one thing at a time. Mas natural sa atin yon, yung isa-isa lang yung ginagawa natin, hindi sabay-sabay. Kaya nga, ano yung mga examples na kapag pinagsabay-sabay mo yung mga ginagawa mo, naapektuhan yung quality. Halimbawa, kaya hindi maganda yung texting while driving. Shout out dyan sa mga nagmamaneho. Agree ba kayo dyan? Sana agree kayo. At i-apply nyo na kapag nag-drive kayo, huwag kayong nagkakalkal ng cellphone. 'Di ba? Kasi kapag dinivide mo yung attention mo between driving and replying sa cellphone, mako-compromise yung quality of your driving. May mababangga kang tao, may magagasgasan kang kotse, meron kang mababanggang bangketa, so hindi maganda yan. Kaya nga ginawa ring batas yan, 'di ba? Meron tayong anti-distracted driving law. Sana naman sundin nyo yung mga nagmamaneho dyan. Diba? O isa pang example, ito si Stephen Speaks. Kilala niyo ba si Stephen Speaks? Asawa ni Mrs. Speaks. Hindi, joke lang. Pero, di ba, may kanta yung Stephen Speaks, di ba? Ano yung kanta niya? Ayan, that I've got all that I need. Naku, pigilan niyo ako. Pag nakakita ako ng lyrics, gusto kong kantahin. Pero baka makapiright, wag na. That I've got all that I need. Right here in the passenger seat. Yan yung title ng kanta, passenger seat. Ito na yung divided attention niya. And I can keep my eyes on the road, knowing that she's inches from me. Yun, distracted siya. Yung attention niya hati between the road sa SLEX at yung attention niya, yung isang source na pupunta doon sa jowa niyang katabi niya. So, distracted driving yan. Kaya kung ako kay Stephen Speaks, oy Stephen, tigilan mo yan. Kung ganyan yung epekto sa'yo ng katabi mo, palipatin mo muna sa likod para hindi kayo maaksidente. Am I making sense? Of course, I'm just kidding, but you get the point. Na ang divided attention, nakaka-compromise talaga yan ng quality of the task. Diba? Kahit nga si Gerald Anderson Diba? Doon sa isang movie niya with Bea Alonzo, nalimutan ko na yung title. Ilagay nyo lang dyan sa comment section kung naalala nyo. Nag-away sila dito Sabi ni Gerald Anderson dito, minsan na nga lang tayo nagkikita, nagmamadali ka pa. Sabi niya dun sa jowa niya kay Bea. Ba't siya nagagalit? Si Bea kasi, divided attention. Tuwing ka-date niya itong babae, text ng text. may ibang iniisip, marami pa siyang gagawin, kaya nagmamadali umuwi. So yung attention ni Bea dito hati doon sa work niya, which I think chef yata siya dito, no? Tingnan nyo, chef yata siya dyan eh. So iniisip niya yung pagka-chef niya, at the same time yung pagiging jowa niya kay Gerald. Napapansin ni Gerald na parang hindi ganun ka-invested yung jowa niya sa kanya, nagalit, na bad trip. Kaya sabi niya, sana naman, pag babe time. Sino dito agree kay Gerald? In a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you agree with that life principle? Kung babe time, which indicates focus and concentration, tama ba? In a scale of 1 to 10, ilagay nyo sa comment section, gaano kayo nag-agree kay Gerald Anderson dito? 10 highest, 1 lowest. Kung babe time. Di ba? Ang point lang nung slide na to is, it even shows na ang divided attention, ang multitasking, it can even harm relationships. Sino dito agree? Na kapag nagmumultitasking ka, wala ka sa focus sa relationships mo, it compromises your relationships, whether that's towards your parents, or towards your friends, or towards your jowa. Kapag wala ka sa focus sa relationship, maapektuhan yung quality of your relationship. And of course, i-connect natin to sa spirituality, the most important relationship that we have is our relationship with our God. Di ba? Kaya ang demonyo gagawa ng paraan para ma-distract tayo from our relationship with God. Kasi ang pinaka-basic way on how we express our relationship with God is to worship God. Yan talaga yung programming ng tao, it's to worship God. At ayon ng demonyo yan. So anong gagawin niya? Distraction. Gagamit ng cognitive psychology yan. As you can see here, ito yung mga gagawin niya. I-distract niya tayo ng i-distract so that we forget to worship the God that we should be worshiping. Nakita niyo ba yung nangyari sa slide ko? Although medyo corny yung example, no, pero you get the point. Dapat ito focus natin eh. Worship our God, but the devil will use distraction so that worshiping God becomes out of our awareness. Ang ending, we forget to worship God because now we are too focused on the worldly things. Diba? Kung babasahin nyo yung mga parts na to from If I Were the Devil, mga ano to eh, i-distract tayo sa mga worldly things. Yan yung point niyan. Hihilahin yung attention natin from the spiritual papunta sa material. I think the best picture to illustrate this is this one. Yan. Supposedly, dapat lahat tayo nakatingala sa taas. That's our programming. We are meant to be spiritual. But what will the devil do? Hihilahin niya yan pababa. Huwag kang tumingin dyan. Dito ka sa mga distractions ko. Mamahaling relo. Yan. Magandang kotse. Yon. Mga pwede mong bilhin sa mall, malaking sweldo, magagandang damit, and the most powerful distraction of all time, ano yon? Cellphone, tablet. Sino dito agree? Sabi nga nila, we are always being destroyed by weapons of mass distraction. Hindi distraction na distraction. At isa sa mga mass distractions that we know of, very powerful, social media, na lumalabas sa mga cellphones and tablets natin. So we no longer worship the God that we should be worshiping. 'Di ba? Nawawala yung attention natin from God. Boom! Lahat napunta na sa material realm. Kaya nga yung mga ganyang balita, more or less it fits that model eh. 'Di ba? Yung balita ng APA naglabas nito na parami ng mga tao ngayon ang nag-open up ang kinakausap mga AI chatbots. Doon humahanap ang tao ng connection, ng friendship, ng emotional support. Well, again, many of you will not agree with me here. Marami na naman magagalit sa akin dito. Marami na naman magtataas ang kilay, pero okay lang. But the truth is, as spiritual beings, we are not designed to connect with chatbots. But we are designed to connect with another spiritual being who is our maker, God Himself. Pero sobrang successful na nga ng demonyo sa pag-create ng distractions, huwag kang tumingin kay Lord. Huwag kang mag-open up kay Lord. Meron akong mas magandang alternative, itong AI. Diyan ka mag-open up. Diyan ka magsabi ng problema. Yan yung kausapin mo. Sabi nga ni Jesus, no, in the scriptures, very related here, no one can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. You cannot serve both the spiritual being and the material world. Yung isa dyan, totally kukunin yung attention mo, yung isa totally i-ignore mo. And unfortunately in our society today, ako lang naman to. Okay lang if you don't agree with my observations, but based on my observation, people are more likely to pay attention to the worldly things and avoid godly things. Ignore godly things. Diba? Kaya nga, in connection to this, no, may article na nasulat dyan eh. And this is very interesting na ang mga tao na mas nagiging materialistic, mas ang focus sa material world, mas distracted sila sa material world, mas bumababa yung level of spirituality nila. The less they connect with God, the less they talk to God, the less they think about godly/spiritual things. Kaya nga in the literature, in materialism, kung i-connect mo yan sa spirituality, those two variables, materialism and spirituality, are considered as water and oil. Hindi mo sila pwedeng pagsamahin. They have inverse relationship. Mas distracted ka sa material things, mas i-ignore mo yung spiritual things. Kaya nga siguro, ito yung reminder ni Jesus that you should be prioritizing what you need to prioritize. Mas mag-focus ka sa dapat mong i-focus, which is the spiritual realm more than the material realm. Kaya nga as I end this lecture, one last reflection, ilagay nyo dyan sa comment section. Be honest. When was the last time? And how long? Okay, kasama yung how long. Number 1, you browsed through a shopping app. Lazada man yan, or Shopee, or whatever. Shein, ano pa ba? Ilan yung tatlong alam ko, ano? So, when was the last time na ginawa mo yon? Naghanap ka ng pwede mong mabili. And then, gaano katagal mo ginawa yon? And then, ikumpara mo yan sa when was the last time and how long did you pray to God? Ako, ang hypothesis ko, given all these things that I've shared with you, ang hypothesis ko, mas madalas mong ginagawa yung number 1, at the same time, mas mahaba mong ginagawa yung number 1. Siguro ang average mo sa number 1, 1 oras. Ang average mo sa number 2, walang 1 minuto. Well, kung tama yung hula ko, ilagay mo dyan sa comment section, yes, tama ka. Yun. Alright? Anyway, so that ends the lecture. Sana na ipakita ko sa inyo, no, kung how the devil can be using psychological concepts such as conditioning and distraction in destroying our psyche by pushing us or pulling us away from God. Kaya ang demonyo, grabe yan. Pinaghihinalaan ko, psychology major siguro to, alam niya yung conditioning, alam niya yung distraction. You know, but for my last slide, could it be, ito nagtatanong lang ako, no? Merong isang study na ginawa, pataas daw, parami ng parami daw, hindi. Pakonti ng pakonti daw, ang mga Pilipino ngayon na nagsisimba. Ang variable dyan in the psychology of religion is church attendance. Yung church attendance daw, pababa ng pababa as time goes by. Ngayon, as I end this lecture, meron lang ako tanong na could it be that this is now the outcome of something spiritual that is happening? Na ang nasa likod ng spiritual realm na yon is the devil himself using conditioning and distraction that make this happen. Now, don't get me wrong, hindi ko sinasabing yan lang yung explanation. To be fair here, yung mga mahihilig sa science dito, baka galit na naman kayo sa akin. I-acknowledge natin yung science, maraming factors, scientific factors and explanations, bakit ang church attendance bumababa. Mababasa mo yan sa isang textbook ng Psychology of Religion. For those of you who are interested, hanap pa ng textbook sa subject na yan, nandyan yung mga explanations. What will make someone attend more in churches or attend less in churches? Be my guest. Read the book. Pero ako ang focus ko, kasi ito yung madalas na nane-neglect. Ito yung maraming hindi nag-iisip. Hindi ito iniisip, but what are the chances na ang mga tao, the reason why they go to church less and less, it's because of a spiritual factor. It's a spiritual warfare being done by the devil himself. At anong ginagamit niyang weapon sa spiritual warfare na to? He is using psychological weapons such as conditioning and distraction. What are the chances? Ako lang naman to, personally, the chances are high. that there is a devil behind this pattern of human behavior. Alright? So yun lang yung maikli nating lecture on the devil's psychology, conditioning, and distraction. If you have any questions or comments, ilagay nyo lang dyan sa baba. Sir Howard here until the next lecture. God bless everyone. Ingat kayong lahat. Maulan. Bye-bye.